Where do the Knicks rank amongst the top teams in the Eastern Conference? And I'll go first. We're the fourth best team in the Eastern Conference. We're better than Atlanta. We're better than Chicago.
The team that smoked.
We're better than Indiana.
I saw your rankings on Twitter.
Wait, are you better than Philly?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Especially with the turmoil going on with Ben Simmons, we are better than Philly as well. I'll rank the Knicks third because there is a chance we can get that third seed. There is a chance we can be better than Miami.
But are you the third best team?
Let him finish.
Because the signings that we made were awesome. Our two biggest weaknesses last year got exposed in the playoffs. You're totally right.
4-1.
We didn't have another shot creator outside of Randall. RJ still developing that part of his game. And we didn't have knockdown shooters. We signed Evan Fournier to replace Reggie Bullock. Evan Fournier these last 2 years in Orlando has averaged 20 points per game and shot 40% from three. Pretty cool contract we got him on. Kemba Walker just got him $8 million per year. Last 2 seasons in Boston has averaged 20 points per game and has shot 38% from three and 36% from three. Now we have 3 legitimate guys who can get us a bucket at any single time on this team in this starting lineup. And RJ, I'm counting on him to make a third-year leap, and he's going to make a gigantic leap. I'm not delusional thinking that Cam Reddish is even on the same galaxy as RJ like Riv is right now. He's still delusional about that. We re-signed Derrick Rose. Our record with Rose was phenomenal. He was a huge part to our team. Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel was top 6 in blocks per game. And we brought back Gibson, so whatever happens to Mitch or Noel, we still got Gibson. And the best move of all, we re-signed Randall 4 years, $117 million. I've been vocal about me not wanting to re-sign him long-term if the contract was crazy. But he's the 39th highest paid player in the NBA. He took a pay cut to be a New York Knick. Something nobody for Chicago's doing. You know, Lonzo's getting overpaid to go to Chicago. Nobody's doing that for Chicago. They know New York. Everybody wants to be in New York.
Just paid for a year, $78 million.
We are locked to be the 4th seed, and Evan Fournier is better than Lonzo Ball. And he's getting paid less.
I don't know about that one.
He's getting paid less.
Did you just re-sign Nerlens Noel?
Nerlens Noel was top 6 in blocks last year.
Oh, my God.
We are the 4th best team in the Eastern Conference. We are locked to be the 4th best team. We could be the 3rd, but no lower than 4th. 4th is our floor. It's our absolute floor. We're better than Boston. We're better than Chicago. We're better than Philly. And we're better than Atlanta. And that Atlanta series pisses me off. The reason why it pisses me off is because we lost in 5. Sure. Gentleman's sweep. Say what you want. Game 1 came down to the wire. If Trae Young doesn't hit that floater, we win that game. That series was closer to 6 than it was to a sweep. That's just what it was. Our last 2 games, we played abysmal, which is why people have this perception of our team. But in reality, the first 4 games were very competitive. And we were missing, and Randall had arguably his worst stretch of the year in that playoff, something that's not going to happen again. RJ, they didn't play well either. Our 2 best players did not play well at all. Next year, that's not going to happen. We brought in Fournier to make sure we got a floor space. We brought in Kemba Walker to make sure we got a guy there. You look at Atlanta versus the New York Knicks. Trae Young is better than Kemba. We know that. Fournier is better than Bogdanovich. RJ is better than Hunter. Randall is better than Collins. And Mitch next year will be. Mitch next year wasn't even healthy the entire year. We didn't have him in the playoffs. That was huge. He will be in consideration for DPOY next year when healthy, and he's going to be better than Clint Capella next year. And our bench is better than Atlanta as well. Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Emmanuel Quigley, Obi Toppin, I think it's going to be better as well. Nerlens Noel.
That's a good bench.
Anyaka.
That's the same bench they lost with.
We are going to be the 4th best team in the Eastern Conference. And if you want to say Atlanta could, be better than us, I don't got a problem with it. But bottom line is that if we meet Atlanta again in the playoffs, we're going to get our revenge. But one thing's for certain, there's no way in hell Chicago is going to be better than us. We have your coach that you had the most success with since you've been alive with our coach, Tom Thibodeau. He's our guy. He's not your guy no more. He's our guy. He's better than Billy Donovan. The Knicks are better than the Chicago Bulls. There's no doubt about it.
Your fandom is coming out.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. The Knicks are better than Chicago Bulls.
The Knicks are not a top 5 seed in the East. Not a top 5. First of all, you're not better than the Nets. That's clear as day. You're not better than the Bucks. You're not better than Miami. You're not better than Philly. You could say the turmoil all day, all night. When they throw out if they throw out that same roster that they have, they're better than you guys. You're not better than the team that just destroyed y'all. And you they spanked y'all in the Garden. Like, come on. Like,
I got it. Keep going.
I already had it up. I just wanted to look at these scores because you said it.
Last 2 games are bad.
127, 137. They beat you out in overtime. If Trae Young doesn't, you went to overtime. You had a chance to win. You lost. 107, 105. That's a pretty good game.
They won. They won 107, 105.
No, the Hawks won.
Okay.
They won game 2, 101-92. It was a good game. 105-94. Game 3. Game 4, 96 to 113 points. Game 5, 103-89. Bro, this team, first of all, the Hawks team, the guys you brought back, Derrick Rose, Alec Burke, Nerlens Noel, they were obviously key pieces to your team. So I'm not going to sit here and play stupid. They were key. Derrick Rose, when you guys got Derrick Rose, you guys started playing amazing. Derrick Rose was really good for y'all in the playoffs. Julius Randle, he didn't play good. We don't know what to expect next year. Hopefully, he plays better, but his first time in the playoffs wasn't good. RJ Barrett, same thing. His first time in the playoffs wasn't good. Obviously, you didn't have Mitch throughout the year, but your fandom is really, really starting to show. Atlanta, they were better than y'all because they all understood their roles and they were hitting threes at a really high clip, and Trae Young just completely outperformed Julius Randle by a scale of a margin. Bogdanovich, listen, the Fournier guy, you keep saying he's better. You keep bringing up these Orlando stats, but you keep missing the Boston stats. I don't know why you keep doing that. It's really weird to me. Say the whole
where he shot 44% from 3
yeah,
in
and
Boston?
averaged 13 points. He didn't he
What
relegated
was
to it.
What was his role there?
The same thing as Bogdanovich's role. That's what it's going to be. And he averaged 13 points.
Kemba was out. Jaylen Brown was out.
No, he played with Kemba for a majority of
He
the
didn't play
year.
with Jaylen Brown.
Kemba missed the last 2 games. I'm talking that finals. That playoff series.
Oh, I'm talking about just the season when he got traded there.
I thought you were talking.
Regular season he averaged 13. The playoffs he averaged 15. He's doing exactly what Bogdanovich does. It's the same size. I don't know why he keeps throwing those Orlando numbers.
Because Evan Fournier in Orlando was the second option to Vucevic, was the closer for their team, made the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Orlando wasn't good.
He was a second option. He's not good.
But you saying in Orlando he wasn't good?
No, Orlando wasn't good.
They made the playoffs 2 years in a row.
In an East that really wasn't that great.
Oh, but they made the playoffs. They were a good team.
In the bubble?
They were an okay team.
No, they were a good team. They made the playoffs.
Semantics.
They made the playoffs.
Go ahead.
Oh my God! Listen, that's 5 teams: Nets, Bucks, Atlanta, Heat, Philly. You can argue Boston. I think I would probably put the Knicks over Boston because they have more depth. But Jason Tatum can change that. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum can change that on any given night. I have the Knicks as a 7th, 6th team in the East right now. I think bringing all their guys back and making RJ Barrett, Julius Randle continue to improve along with getting Mitch back. I don't think Indiana has a lot of good players, but I don't know if I could put them over the Knicks right now.
Okay.
Honestly, I like the Knicks defense.
Okay.
I like how gritty they get. But come playoff time, it's really gonna come down to that offense. Can RJ Barrett make that step and be that guy? He played like garbage. You said he was better than DeAndre Hunter. I don't know about that. DeAndre Hunter was really well for the games he played. He was really well. I'll probably put them on even par right now. But Julius Randle has to be better. You paid him to be the guy. He has to be that guy. He didn't play well in the playoffs. For you guys to take teams like the Heat, the Bucks, Atlanta, you have to have that guy that comes out and shows. And Julius Randle hasn't shown that. RJ Barrett hasn't showed that. So in year 3, this for RJ, year 3, he has to improve. Randle, second year as the man, he has to improve. But as far as I'm concerned, Evan Fournier doesn't move the needle for me to put you guys in the top 5. He's a really good shooter. He's a really good player. He's a cone on defense. Kemba Walker, we've seen him. He's injury prone. Even when we've seen him play, he hasn't been Kemba Walker. He's still a guy who lacks defense. He's a guy who he isn't that great of a playmaker. He's very inefficient. And sometimes he doesn't show up. So I personally think
Kemba's inefficient
in the playoffs. Yes, he has been inefficient in the playoffs.
Oh, but we're talking about right now regular season seeding.
The question is, where do the Knicks rank amongst teams in the East? That's the question. It wasn't about regular season seeding.
I mean, we're basing that off where they're going to rank at the end of the year in terms of the standings.
But I'm thinking big picture.
I'm thinking who's the best teams in the East. Like you talking about,
who's the best East based on roster construction?
Yeah, that's what we talking about. In the East, you could be a 3rd seed, but because the team's getting hurt, you can easily be a 3rd, 4th seed. But
this whole debate is basing that these players are going to be healthy. No, we're not walking into this debate thinking they're going to be injured.
Of course, I agree.
Okay, I still have you guys as a 6 or 7 seed.
Because if we were, then you wouldn't put Jaylen Brown where you wouldn't put the Celtics where you put the Celtics because of Jaylen Brown because he was hurt.
I'm talking about going into next year.
Yeah.
But he's still coming off an injury.
I mean, it was a
so
risk.
I'm saying if we're
injury.
debating something, we're obviously debating it barring injury. Everybody healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You guys are like 6 or 7 seed. You saying you're better than a team where you didn't make any high key moves to make you better than that team is egregious. Like they beat y'all in 5 games, bro. Like they embarrassed y'all at y'all home. They beat y'all in 5 games. Trae Young embarrassed y'all. Your players did not come to play. Like the same guys you're bringing in, aside from Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier and losing Reggie, like the same, basically the same guys. He did. You got embarrassed. Y'all got embarrassed. Like
last 2 games, it was bad. First 4 games, we were okay. I mean, first 3 games, we were good.
Yeah. And then the last 2 games, you got embarrassed on your home floor and then their home floor. 5 games.
I mean, like I mentioned before, that series was closer to 6 games than it was to a sweep.
How you figure?
It wasn't.
It was
because the first game went into overtime.
And you lost by 10 points.
It was also the Hawks.
It doesn't.
Go ahead.
It was our first playoff game, too.
Agreed. No,
so
for sure.
I'm saying it's not like we got completely blown off the court. The last 2 games, I said it.
So it couldn't be closer to 6.
That was the beginning thing I said. Last 2 games, yes, we didn't play well. We got blown off the court. But those first 3 games, we played well. We could have won the first one. We could have took a 2-0 lead on them realistically. So we didn't get embarrassed in those first 3 games. They were competitive games.
You got embarrassed at the end.
Those were competitive games. Let me ask you.
Talk to me.
Is Evan Fournier better than Reggie Bullock?
Oh, you definitely made an upgrade at that.
Oh, okay.
Well, on offense, yeah.
Is Kemba Walker better than Elfrid Payton? I was a starting point guard.
Offensively, yes.
He's just a better player. Like Kemba's just a better player.
These are 2 guys who you literally downgrade on defense. That's a fact.
Elfrid Payton played 15 minutes. It's not he was the only player on our team that had a minus plus minus.
Yeah, his offense is pretty garbage.
It was both. It wasn't his defense wasn't this big thing you're acting like it was. It wasn't that.
Kemba Walker isn't a good defender though.
I'm not saying he is.
And Fournier is definitely a drop off on defense.
Fournier is better than Payton by a significantly wide margin.
Agreed. Yeah. No,
and Fournier, even though Bullock is a better defender, Fournier is significantly better than Reggie Bullock. So, yes, we did significantly improve. We're talking about RJ, who's going into his 3rd year, who's going to take that leap. RJ has shown no signs of not improving. You talk about RJ doesn't show up. Yes, a 5-game sample size. He didn't play well. Even though one of those games he actually did play well. He had 21 points. And Cam Reddish gets praised for a 21 point per game performance. RJ Barrett, rookie year, biggest question mark, can he shoot? 2nd year, he shoots 40% from 3. He proved people wrong. He could shoot. And he started the season off very slow. He missed, I think, 18 straight threes at one point in the season. Julius Randle improves to an all-NBA player. Yes, he didn't show up in the playoffs, but it's because they were collapsing on Randle and nobody on the outside can create or hit their own shot. We fixed those problems. What did Atlanta do? Atlanta did nothing outside of bring DeLon Wright.
What did they need to do?
Why wouldn't they need to do something?
They just have to continue to improve as what they've been doing.
They made it to the ECF with an Eastern Conference that
you couldn't do.
Well, we're going to talk about the Hawks in a bit because that run was extremely fluky.
You couldn't do it.
Their moves this offseason that have been getting praised so much was drafting Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper. Sharif Cooper and Jalen Johnson aren't even going to play. DeLon Wright was their best free agent move, and they just brought their guys back.
They don't need to do anything.
They brought everybody back in an Eastern Conference that got significantly better. The Knicks got better. Everybody got better outside of Atlanta. They stayed the same.
My thing with you is you keep, and this is where the fandom comes out, because you keep talking about RJ's going to do this. He's going to make that leap. Julius Randle's going to make that leap.
Even if RJ gives me this 18 points per game, which he gave me last year, I'm fine with it.
Let him finish.
Mitch is going to make that leap. I expect him to have a big jump. What about Trae Young? What about DeAndre Hunter? What about if John Collins come back? What about John Collins? What about Kevin Huerter? Yeah, what about Kevin Huerter? Hold on. What about those guys? The same guys that you said, you talking about your team who they didn't play good. They're expected to make the jump. What about the guys that actually played good? What about their jump? Why do you keep dismissing them but keep praising the guys who didn't play good? I know your fandom keeps coming out, but Kevin Huerter, he can make a jump. Same thing with DeAndre. He was barely healthy when he played you guys. And he still put up 11 points on his calm efficiency.
11 is great.
Calm. It's not great, but he wasn't healthy. He was just coming back from the injury. He can still make a jump. Trae Young can continue to still improve. John Collins can continue to still improve. Like, these are young guys, mind you, younger than the guy you just paid, this is the same team who just beat Chop in 5. They can continue to improve. This is the same team. So stop saying, oh, RJ, I expect this. RJ. This the same thing you could say for them is the same thing we could say for Atlanta, the team that just went to the Eastern Conference Final. You could say whatever you want about that run. You couldn't beat them, and you were healthy. So you can say whatever you want about that run. Philly was healthy. They beat Philly. Y'all was healthy. They beat y'all. They did that in their first run. The same way how you say this is RJ's first run. That was Trey's first run. That was John's first run. That was their first run.
John's 14-11 first run.
Word. That was that was their first run, and they went to the ECF. That's only going to help them improve as a team and improve that continuity. Really? All you guys have done is brought in a Kemba Walker who had a garbage game his last game he played in the playoffs and wasn't good for Boston, and then you brought in Evan Fournier, who is a good shooter. I'm not going to knock him. He's
a good player all around.
He's good for his role. I'm not going to sit there and knock that. You made that improvement in the backcourt. But let's be realistic. Kemba Walker is probably not that much better than Derrick Rose right now. He might be better.
Well, that's Derrick Rose is a starter.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose is really good.
Yeah, Trae Young is better than both of them. He's going to continue to improve. That team is going to improve. So stop knocking the team when they just beat you on 5 and went to the ECF, bro. Like, this is a team that's going to continue to improve.
You just said a whole lot of nothing.
Like, come on,
because there's a 4-year rule in sports that we all acknowledge. Everybody acknowledges this 4-year rule in sports. There are some exceptions. There are some outliers to the rule, like Julius Randle last year, where he had an All-NBA season, but nobody was expecting that. After your 4th year, we kind of know what type of player you're going to be. Trae Young, you're right, but I'm not expecting him to be anything less than a superstar. I never said Trae Young was he's going to be what he's going to be. I think we all know what Trae Young is going to be. He's going to be a goddamn star. We know that. Kevin Huerter, off the bench, how bigger of an impact is he realistically going to have? I am talking about a guy who's going to have a big impact on the Knicks and RJ Barrett. Mitchell Robinson didn't play at all last year. He played 29 games. And amongst that 2018 draft class, win shares, it's Luka, it's Ayton, and it's Mitch. Mitch contributes significantly to winning, and we didn't even have him last year. You talk about Bogdanović. Bogdanović is going to be what we think he's going to be. He's a good player.
About Bogdanović.
Okay, that's cool. John Collins, 4 years into his career, going on 5. I mean, I think this was his 5th season this past season, or it's going to be his 5th season. We kind of know what Collins is going to be. Like,
don't say that negatively.
Like, he's a good player, but how much bigger of a jump is he going to take?
Wait. How can you say that when Julius Randle just had a jump 6 years later?
No, I literally said there are a few outliers.
That's his pass around,
I literally said there are a few outliers. So that's what I'm saying. The Atlanta Hawks team, okay, sure. Trae Young, we know he's a star. I'll give you DeAndre Hunter. He wasn't healthy. He could definitely significantly improve. Even Cam Reddish, you're so high on Cam Reddish, he could improve too. But outside of those 3 guys, everybody else, we know what they're going to be.
That's the same thing for Kemba, Fournier. Well, we know what Kemba is.
Did I once say Kemba was going to take a leap? Did I once say Fournier was going to take a leap?
But you're saying that he's going to impact your squad to get over the hump.
Yeah, he's going to impact it because we had Alfred Payne starting last year and Reggie Bullock.
This is year 4 for Mitch. Looking at it right now.
Hawks are going to take their same. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You said the 4-year rule.
That's fine. But Mitch to me is not somebody who's going to just be an all-star. He's just going to be a great defensive player. That's what he's going to be. I said Kemba and Fournier because we had Alfred Payne and Reggie Bullock starting last year. Of course, these guys are major upgrades. I never said once Randall's going to take a leap. Fournier is going to take a leap. Kemba. I just said Randall's not going to play as bad as he did in the playoffs this past season that he's going to do next year. I don't think he's going to repeat that.
But how can we say that for certain?
Because Randall shot better from 3 than he did from the field. I don't expect that to happen again.
Dude, I think he dropped his averages like something scary. I have it right here 100%.
His efficiency was god-awful. I know how bad Randall was. Not once did I mention our older players and say they're going to take a leap. All I mentioned was RJ and that Mitch didn't even play versus Atlanta. And I think he would have made a difference. Would it have been huge? Maybe not. Maybe could we taken him to 6 with Mitch? Possibly. I'm just saying our young guys, especially RJ, the guy that I'm looking 18. At the most. RJ's the guy I'm looking at the most. Yeah, he'll take a leap.
And even shot 30%.
And even that 18-mile Randall is better than John Collins' averages. Of course, the efficiency is way off.
But you need Randall to be the best offensive weapon on the Knicks for you guys to be successful.
Sure.
Does Collins need to be 1? Does he need to be 2?
Randall,
any given that he could be 4 and it'd be fine.
It doesn't matter because you have,
and guess
that's why Atlanta's so
and
dangerous.
What did,
you know for a fact Trae Young's going to be there to drop 30.
Absolutely correct. And what did the Knicks do this year? they made it so Randall doesn't have to have that load every single night.
Fournier,
if Randall is off, okay, Fournier, you can give us 17 or 25 if you want to.
But it's not like Fournier's been this all-world player even in the postseason. It's like he's shot 37% from the field and 31% from three.
And you trust Kemba right now?
I think Kemba's still a great player. I think he's a really good player. And Fournier, and Drew, this is why I don't put too much stock into these numbers. Because, yes, Fournier wasn't exceptional in the playoffs, but two reasons why. One, he was facing the first seed in each freaking playoff year. Each time he made the playoffs, he was facing the first seed. That an elite defense.
But you're saying that the Atlanta really didn't play that well, but RJ shot what from the field?
But two, they are 5-game sample sizes. I'm talking about the season. How are we going to fare in the season? Let's look at what Fournier does in a season. Fournier now is the third option on the Knicks, probably the fourth. Was probably
he the third option in Boston? Yes, right?
Possibly.
He averaged 13.
15 in the regular season.
No, it was 13 in the regular season. It was 15 in the playoffs.
And he was the third option.
So he's probably going to, 14, 15 with... Well, he's an upgrade from Reggie Bullock.
Well, of course. We already established that.
So
but I'm saying that the Knicks have made moves this offseason to the point that Randall doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to shoulder the load every single night because Kemba can drop 20 any night. Fournier can drop 20 any night. RJ.
You really trusting Kemba right now, bro?
He just averaged 20 points per game last season with Boston.
Then you don't take numbers into consideration, but then you could say, oh, he averaged 20 points, so I know he's going to be good.
Wait, hold up. I never said I didn't take numbers into consideration. I just said I'm not going to. I never said that I'm just not going to evaluate an entire player's performance based on a 5-game sample size.
But then you're giving credit to 20, but how about the 5 points that he scored against Toronto?
That's one freaking game, bro.
And how about the 1-for-9 shooting that he had against Miami?
Okay, that's 2 games. We are talking.
Okay, so now it's 2 games.
In the regular season, it's 50-plus game sample size. How about the last game that
he had against the Nets? He was horrible.
I mean, he only played 40 games.
Right now, I'm more so worried about what Kemba and Fournier are bringing us to the regular season. When we get to the playoffs, we'll get to the playoffs and we'll evaluate them there.
But isn't the ultimate goal playoffs, dude?
Of course, but every single playoff run is different. We have players who are known playoff chokers. Kyle Lowry was that for a majority of years in Toronto. One playoff run, the entire perception changed. Chris Middleton was that for entire years in Milwaukee. One great playoff run, the entire perception changed.
So what is your team known as right now?
In the playoffs, because it's a 5-game sample size and because teams are heavily game planned for, efficiency numbers can be very volatile. Efficiency numbers don't tell the whole story because we know statistically efficiency goes down in the playoffs. That's just a fact. Efficiency goes down in the playoffs.
That's a very vague statement to say.
It's not a vague statement.
It is, but
Devin Booker wasn't efficient in the playoffs.
But his points per game didn't decrease by 7-8 points.
No, but I'm saying
RJ dropped 4 points per game as well.
Julius Randle dropped about 8.
He dropped.
Randle, you said RJ dropped 4 points per game?
RJ dropped 4 points.
4 points per game.
From the regular season to the playoffs.
So he averaged 14 in the playoffs.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I said.
No, you said RJ dropped 4 points per game.
He dropped 4 points.
Well, when I'm saying dropped, I think you're meaning he dropped.
It's okay, King.
I get what he's trying. I get
it.
Because that's how it sounded.
Yeah, I get it.
Because I'm talking regular season to postseason. Because listen, I didn't even get a chance to get my 2 cents. Because I think the Knicks will be a top seed in the East because they're going to be playing hard every single night. Because that's what the Knicks have to do. They have to do that if they want to even have some kind of chance or have anyone put some respect on their name. But come playoff time, there's teams that are better than them. And we saw that this postseason. You guys don't have the scorers or the ability right now to have or outscore teams like Atlanta, outscore teams like even Miami that I'm not even high on their offense. Because defensively, they're going to clamp you guys. You guys could do all these great things in the regular season. Come playoff time, it's not like Evan Fournier or Kemba Walker are going to put you over the top. You guys could still be a first-round exit depending on the matchup.
Absolutely not. I love what you said, though, that we're going to play hard. We're definitely going to play hard.
You have to.
The Knicks, depending on matchups in the playoffs, can make the Eastern Conference Finals.
So who can't you beat?
We heard that this year.
Who can't you beat right now?
Because you guys could
Miami,
you guys could have beat Atlanta. You guys could have beat the Phillies.
You said the same thing last year. We can't beat Miami. We can't beat the Nets.
And we got better this year. I'll keep saying it. Hey, look. If
you got to put respect on Atlanta's name. Yeah, it's at one point, like you have to, bro.
I'm not.
You're just hating at this point.
I'm not hating because I'm going to just stick by my guns and what I believe in. Because you know what? That's gotten me far to this point. Julius Randle when he first got signed by the Knicks. I said he would be an all-star. I said he would be
wrong.
I said he would be better than Kristaps Porzingis. After that first year, we all know what happened. He was the most hated player in New York. I didn't stick to my guns and what I believed in, and I flip-flopped my take, and I regret it because the very next year, Randle became an All-NBA player, and Kristaps Porzingis is on the verge of getting traded, and that take aged perfectly. So right now, I'm sticking by my. I'm sticking by my guns and sticking with what I believe in. I believe the Knicks will be a top team in the Eastern Conference, and depending on matchup, can beat any team outside of Miami, the Nets, and Milwaukee. Bro. We will get revenge on Atlanta.